Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Ecolinguist live show. This is a show where we connect with the live audience, with you guys, and we improvise language challenges the same way we do it on the channel, but live. So thank you for coming, everybody. There is so many people watching us already. So I'm glad to see some regulars who always are hanging out with us. That's great. So you probably know the format already because this is not the first episode. This is the episode number 4 of this live stream. So you are familiar with the format. But this is a special episode because we're going to be joined by a guest, a super guest that we already familiar with. If you watched my videos before, you probably know her from one of the recent videos featuring the Tuscan vernacular, one of the languages of Italy. So in a moment, I'm going to introduce you to Samantha, but before we start, I just want to tell everybody how to join us. So if you are interested in joining us today and you want to participate in language challenges, you need to fill in a registration form, which looks something like that. The link is in the description box, so you just need to go to the description box and you will find a registration form there. You need to, first of all, give your consent to appear in the video. That's very important. That's why I collect these. And then you're going to get a link to call us on. So first you need to register and then you're going to get a link to be able to call us live. For you guys who already registered in previous streams, you don't have to register again. So it's the same link. You can just go back to your email inboxes, and then find the email there, or maybe you saved the link possibly, and you will be able to call. Today we are focusing on Romance languages specifically, just because of our special guests. But in other episodes in the future, we may cover all kinds of languages, mostly Slavic, Germanic, and Romance languages, just because that's what you can watch on my channel mostly. But actually, I was thinking about it. So if there is someone who is who is a speaker of a non-Indo-European language, or just simply is a native speaker of a language that belongs to a different language family than the families that we cover on the show, you may still call in. However, we would turn it into a guess a language challenge. So for example, if you speak a language that we don't cover here, you could just call in and start speaking to us in that language, and then the participants would try to guess what language you speak. So that could be a part of the language challenge, and then we could just talk to you for a little bit, and you could tell us something interesting about your language. So if you speak any of the languages that are not covered in my mutual intelligibility videos, you can still call in. Just don't reveal the language, because if you are joining in, I ask you to type your language, your name and your language when you're joining into this software. So instead of that, you just give us your name, and in the brackets you can say something like mystery language. So we don't know what language you speak. But for anybody else, if you're calling in, please tell us what is your language, because depending on what language you speak, we will be improvising different shows. So depending who is already on the show, I will be able to tell who to add first, just to be able to run challenges with the current participants. So yeah. Oh my gosh, I've been speaking so long, just trying to speed it up because Samantha is waiting in the green room. So let me just add her now. Just give me a second. I'm just going to do this. Click it here. Samantha, so I'm trying to frame you into the box a little bit, and we're going to be live in 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hey,
Hello, Samantha.
hello.
You are live now. Uh,
Wow.
how are you doing today?
I'm a bit nervous about this. I hope I'll do good.
Yes, I'm always so nervous going live, but that's why
Yeah.
I kind of my first lives I didn't schedule them. I just went spontaneously, like 10 minutes before I was going live. I was just sitting here and like, okay, let's go live. I just got
When I
it
saw the
done.
countdown, I was like sweating and then, oh, what's happening? So I hope I'll do good.
Yeah, but we have such a supportive community here, like people are so nice in the comments.
Yeah, they are lovely. I read all the comments below our previous video and they were awesome. I love them so much.
Greetings from Miguel. Dzień dobry, pani Samantha.
Hi.
Do you recognize that language? Dzień dobry.
Nope.
That's
I'm
Polish.
sorry.
That's Polish.
Oh,
So, dzień dobry is in Polish. So, hola, Miguel.
okay,
Samantha,
hola.
do you have any experience with other languages? Like, what foreign languages do you speak?
Well, I speak English and a little bit of French. I would say an A2 level of French. I can understand it and maybe make a very chit chat conversation,
Uh
but
huh.
not an entire conversation in French, maybe.
Okay, and you've studied English. Did you study English at school or did you learn it by yourself?
I had a very great high school teacher who gave us an advice, and she was always speaking in English to us in our classes, never in Italian. And she told us to express ourselves with all the little words we know, so that without using Italian at all. And she told us to watch our favorite movies in English. So with her with her advice, I was able to reach a higher level of English. She was a great teacher.
Yes, that's the best way to learn, languages through doing something that you enjoy. So you already enjoy movies and TV shows, so you can just
Yeah.
watch them. Um, and for those who haven't seen you in my on my channel yet, by the way, all the videos that you are featured in are in the description box, so people can have a look at what we've already done on the channel. Um, so maybe you could tell us a little bit about your language, the language, your native language that you
Yeah.
speak.
My native language is Italian, but in the Tuscan vernacular variation, let's call it this way. And it doesn't happen to other dialects in Italy because other dialects, rather than Tuscan, are quite easy to be switched. Like I speak my dialect and then I speak Italian. Tuscan is quite similar to Standard Italian. That's because there is a historical connection between them. And so it is not always easy to switch between the two of them. But Tuscan has words and few grammar on its own, but it's perfectly understandable by other Italian speakers. However, some of our peculiar and particular words or phrases, common phrases, are just for the Tuscan people.
Uh,
If you okay, sorry, go on.
Yeah, so maybe you have some examples for us, like especially for people who, let's say, study Italian and they never heard about
Mm.
Toscan. Like, is there something that is kind of typical for
Oh
uh,
yeah.
Toscan speakers? Yeah.
The main thing you're going to notice if you're just an Italian student, a person who study Italian and who's not familiar with the Tuscan version, is that we have funny things going on with our consonants, especially with the C, but also with R's, T's, and D's. The most evident one is in our C consonant. It's like we pronounce it like an H sound. And everybody, because Tuscan is quite understandable to other Italians, they kind of make fun of us and always ask us to say things with many C's, like, can you say to me Coca-Cola, which is Coke, or maybe La Bajeja de la Biblioteca, which is something else. So our C's always are makes an H sound. Um, and this is the most common and known thing about Tuscan.
And what about like some expressions? Maybe there are some expressions that you tend to use. Like for example, in different varieties of Spanish, there are different expressions that in Mexico they use like chido, que chido, which is like how nice. But in like Costa Rica they use pura vida. And in I think Chile or Colombia they use chévere and stuff like that. So I wonder maybe there is something like that in
Well,
Tuscany.
there are actually many variations of Tuscan itself. Like the Florentine one, which is the most known, is very different from the one I speak. One thing I was really impressed about by reading the comments on our video was that many people thought that my vernacular was similar to Roman because my vernacular has many things going on with the R consonant, which is something also Romans do. But the Florentines do not have that at all. So we have many smaller divisions in Tuscan itself, and we're quite jealous about them. Another folkloristic aspect about the Tuscan people is that each one is very conservative of their folklore. I have a friend who lives 15 kilometers from me, and we happen to have words pronounced in different ways, and we actually fight to see who is the which one would be the truth. So we check on our dictionaries. Now you're saying it wrong. I'm saying it correctly.
Yeah, so you mentioned dictionaries. Do you have like a standardized dictionaries just for Tuscan vernacular or?
Uh, I don't think so. I have seen some expressions, collections, but I know that they exist, for example, for Napolitan or Sicilian, which are dialects that can easily be named languages on their own. But for Tuscan, it's more something related with folklore, and it's not treated like a language on its own. So maybe there are some small books which collects together funny phrases or common phrases we use, but not in a official dictionary way. Or maybe it exists, but I am not aware of it, and I'd surely love to see Tuscan treated like a language on its own.
So if there are dictionaries, there are more like specialized of maybe like for linguists that universities who study a particular, you
Maybe.
know,
Yeah, maybe.
particular features of the Tuscan vernacular.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, so actually, we did the experiment with a French speaker and a Spanish speaker, and they did quite well, I believe, from what I remember.
Ex- except I was speaking too fast because I was nervous, like I told you before. I'm a very anxious person, so when the camera is here, I'm like, oh, what's going on?
Yeah, yeah. So that was very fast. So maybe today will get a chance to improvise a language challenge again with speakers of other languages.
I'd love
So
that.
for all of you watching us, if there are speakers of Romance languages, who don't know Italian, you know. So if you're an Italian speaker, maybe you wouldn't be a good fit for this particular challenge. But if you speak any other language, you're welcome to call in, and we can improvise some shows. We can do the thing that we did with Samantha before, with mutual intelligibility format, or we can do something different that I have prepared depending on who is going to call in. Yeah, and also if you're a non-native speaker, you can also call in, because you know this is happening live, and we welcome everybody. You know, we're just going to improvise. It may work, it may not work. We don't know. It's just supposed to be fun. So whoever is watching us right now, you will find the registration form in the description box if you're just joining in.
I think it would be really nice if someone from Corsica would join, because Tuscan and Corsica has a historical origin. So it would be so fun to chat with them. If there is someone from Corsica, call us.
Yes, that would be great. We had an episode featuring Corsican, so greetings to Pierre-Jean. I think you haven't met Pierre-Jean, right?
No.
No. Yeah, maybe there are other Corsican speakers who are available and want to call us in. They're welcome. But yeah, meanwhile, maybe Samantha, could you tell us something about what else you do? What else do you do apart from speaking Toscan on a daily basis?
That's my main activity, speaking in
Great.
Tuscan all my life. I would like to write this in my curriculum. Activity speaks in Tuscan. That's
Yes.
sounds great. I am an illustrator. I have an Instagram page about illustrations. My Instagram nickname is Tosca Sam, Tosca for Tuscany and Sam for Samanta. So it's quite easy to understand. And because I have a graduation in Middle Ages studies, I'm really a history enthusiast, and my drawings are takes inspiration mostly from history and literature. I'm also a licensed guide, so I can take people to have walks in nature. And I'm currently working in a castle here. So I'm trying melting together using mixing my graduation in Middle Ages history with my possibility to guide people and telling them the story of the history of the castle I'm working in. So I do like it very much.
Wow, that's great. So how does it work? Do you like work there from like morning till evening,
It,
or?
it has a few days of openings, and I'm having turns with other guides.
Okay, that's interesting, because you know I live in Edinburgh and we have lots of historical
Yeah.
places here, and you know I was wondering how people work as guides, you know, because it looks like a full-time job. That means that you just have to spend a lot of time hanging out
Well,
in those cool
it depends.
places.
Of course, it depends on how the place is full of tourism. I live in a very in a part of Tuscany which is not very connected with main streets or train stations. So a person who arrives here is not an occasional tourist. He wants to come here because it's not so easy to arrive where I live.
Yes, so you get people who are very interested in that particular area,
Yeah,
and
yeah. It
yeah.
has pros and cons, but it's just like that.
Yeah, so Middle Ages, you studied history then, or
Yeah, I studied history, but in Pisa, I had my graduation in Pisa. My course, you could choose a curriculum. The final graduation says history, but to reach the title, you could choose a curriculum. which was ancient history, Middle Ages studies, modern age, or contemporary era, and I chose Middle Ages studies.
Middle Ages. So what's so fascinating about Middle Ages?
Well, everything which is not the general or common idea of the Middle Ages. That's not how they were. And so it's kind of the most interesting is, in fact, trying to see what was the truth, because we are so filled with the stereotypical image of the Middle Ages, which is not the truth at all. And it's lovely to see how people were actually living people who were on this earth before us, and they had to decide to make decisions, and they had to face many things, and it's interesting to see how they managed to do what they did.
Yes, yes. So I'm wondering, like, what is the like stereotypical view of the Middle Ages? So I could imagine, I would imagine that it's just well,
The one you see in movies, when you see or a show or a movie which is set in the Middle Ages, it mostly has this dark tone atmosphere. Also, they are all wearing leather things, so to be too cool. Maybe maybe too fantasy. And fantasy, it's also always set in the Middle Ages idea. So like even the Lord of the Rings, it has a Middle Ages inspired setting. So people tend to confuse the two of them.
yeah. So I wonder, like, what was the most surprising discovery that you've made studying about this period? Something that you had no idea before, you know, getting deeper into it.
Well, there were many interesting details. Now I'm trying to find something which was incredible. I don't know. For example, we had this idea that people were afraid of the arrival of the 100 years, but that's absolutely not true. It was something fictional made afterwards, and then
They were afraid of
people
the arrival of what? Sorry.
of the year 1000.
Yeah, 1000. Okay, okay.
It's like that they were afraid that the world would like blow up or something, the apocalypse arriving, but that's just fantasy. So it's just so interesting when you see how people commonly believes that they were maybe less intelligent than us, but it's actually not. They were just like us.
Yeah, I think like one of the stereotypes about the Middle Ages is that like it was so easy to die, and people were like suffering, you know, all kinds of
Well,
diseases,
it was
and it
it
seemed
was
like almost
easier
like
to
the
die.
regular life was impossible. Like the only thing that you could do was try to
Was
survive
dying.
and die, or like try to survive, you know. And we see like there is so much like art happening, and some science, and people were doing all kinds of things back then.
Well, yeah, it is. We have a very different idea of life itself. So today we would, of course, suffer in an incredible way for a child who couldn't arrive to adult age. But it was so common back then, so that the approach with life itself was completely different. So it's even difficult to try to explain how could they live in that moment, because they had a completely different idea of surviving and living. That was part of the life.
Yeah, yeah, and you're also into literature, right?
Oh yeah, I do love it.
Yeah, yeah. Tuscan vernacular was kind of not famous, but it was one of the major languages that influenced modern Italian, right?
Yeah, it was mainly due to the work of Dante Alighieri for the Divine Comedy, the Divina Commedia. He put a standard so high that the highest standard for poetry, kind of, to summarize it, kind of became the Florentine dialect he was speaking. So many other writers and poets try to reach that level to be read in an international way, like a person who was doing really good poetry, because Dante had set this higher level. And so by this, poetry became Florentine became the language of high poetry, and because of that, uh, Italian kind of developed by it. But the history of Italian is I summarized it a great deal.
Yes, yes. So, so the fact that you are a fan of Divine Comedy and you also do your interpretation of that on your channel and on my channel as well. So the link is in the description
Yeah,
as well. So does that come from your fascination with Middle Ages as well, or is that something else?
well,
It's
it
more
could
about the
be. It could
language.
be. It's both.
Uh huh.
It's both actually. Yeah, and it was something that really bothered me when I was at school. That teachers always asked to read it in the theatrical diction way, but so trying to not to speak in the Tuscan vernacular while reading it, it would be more easy and more natural for me. I could find many words and many things inside that were written that were, of course, for a Tuscan speaker. You could tell immediately if you read it by your natural accent with Tuscan, they would flow, they would be perfect. But reading them with the standard Italian was not something I liked quite much.
So you just wanted to make sure that people can also hear it in
Yeah,
the original accent, original dialect that it was
which is
written in.
which of course it's not the original one. Like I told you earlier, I do not speak the Florentine accent, but however, reading it with my natural Tuscan accent is better to me. I think it's better rather than reading it in Italian, standard Italian.
I get that. That's great. So I see some comments. People are having fun in the comment
Really?
section,
Yay!
which is great. They're talking between each other, which is cool. I like that community aspect of it. And by the way, everybody, we also have Discord community for the Ecolinguist channel. So if someone wants to, make friends and continue the conversation, and you are a Discord user, you can find the link in the description as well, and join the community and hang out there. And someone asked if they can call if they speak Italian. Oh, I see here. I know Italian. Can I join in anyways? I think you can. I think we don't have many callers at the moment. Maybe we can improvise something. I speak a little bit of Spanish. People are not calling, but actually there is a Jose calling as well. But still, anyone can try to call in. You're welcome, so we can improvise some language challenges, because that's the main reason we met today. But I'm also very happy just to hang out and talk to
About stuff.
yeah, to you, Samantha, and it's cool to learn more about you. Okay, so we've got Jose joining. Yeah, let me just add him. Hello, Jose.
Hello.
Hello,
Hey, Jose, tell us where are you calling from and what
I am
language?
calling from Warsaw, Poland. Do you hear me?
Yeah, that's cool. Warsaw, that's my country, Poland. That's great.
I know it.
Yeah, what do you do in Poland?
Well, currently I'm just a Spanish teacher, freelance, and that's what I'm doing for the moment. And meanwhile, studying other things like video editing and stuff like that. That's
That's
basically it.
cool. I think Polish people love learning Spanish
Yeah,
and Italian as well. Polish people love that. The first language at school, the foreign language at school that people learn is mostly English, then German, and then Spanish, I think, and then Russian and Italian, and also some French. Yeah, we love languages, generally speaking, in Poland.
Yeah, yeah. I think-
Yes, Jose. So I think I missed it. Like, so are you from Spain, or I missed where
yeah.
you're from?
No, I'm actually from Venezuela. From
Venezuela.
Venezuela.
Okay, that's great. And what other languages do you speak apart from
I
Spanish?
speak Spanish and English. That's it. That's what I am the fluent at.
Okay, that's good. So if you haven't studied Italian, we might improvise some challenge.
I actually studied a little bit of Italian, but I don't remember much. But I probably will
Okay,
understand.
but that would be an extra challenge because it's Tuscan vernacular, so the
Yeah, yes.
pronunciation is slightly different. But that's good. That's great. So before we move on to that section, I have another caller. Andrew is calling, so I think people waking up to the fact that we are live. It usually takes a little bit of time for everybody to be notified. Okay, let me just change the screen. Andrew coming in. Hello, Andrew. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Yes.
Apologies. I think I was making some funny faces because I wasn't sure if my my microphone was working.
It's working. It's working. So that's good. Welcome, Andrew. Could you tell us where are you calling from, and what languages do you speak?
Sure. So I'm from Ireland. I live in Ireland, and English is my native language. I speak French to C1 level, and I speak Spanish and Irish to probably A2 level. I've never formally studied Spanish, but I picked it up through kind of interacting with Spanish people, and I use it a bit now in my job, which is kind of cool. It's the first time I've been able to use some of my language skills in a job in a really meaningful way, which is pretty cool. So I guess I could talk about that a bit if people are interested.
Yeah. So is Spanish the only foreign language that you speak, or you also speak some other
No,
languages?
so French. Well, probably starting with Irish. So Irish isn't really a foreign language for Irish people. But as most people may know, most people in Ireland speak English as their first language, as a result of history, we'll say. So most Irish people don't speak Irish fluently, and I'm one of those people. Like I said, I probably speak it to A2 level, so I can hold a basic conversation, but certainly not fluent in a real sense. But then, so French was the first. French was the first proper foreign language I studied, and it's pretty common in Ireland. Most people study either French or German. I would say slightly more people study French as their first foreign language, and a lot of the times they're only foreign language because as English speakers, we do tend to be quite lazy with learning foreign languages. The same as maybe British and American people, we have that bad reputation too for not making the effort with foreign languages. So yeah, which is unfortunate, but yeah, that's it's one of the common trends with English speakers or native English speakers.
Since
So
English is
anyway,
such a global language, I mean, you can communicate with it everywhere, basically.
right, yeah, and Irish people, I think Irish people tend to do pretty well wherever they go. People tend to like us, so maybe there's even less incentive because we just kind of get by with our charm.
I see. That's good. So, what is your strongest language then? Like
Oh, French.
French.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely French because I lived in France for a couple of years. I studied there. I did my Erasmus year there, and then I went back and I taught English for a year. I worked as a assistant anglais. Not in metropolitan France. It was pretty cool. I got to work in Reunion, La Réunion.
Reunion Island.
Yes, yeah. Which it was funny because I didn't choose to work there. It was sort of random. It was randomly selected or assigned to me. And initially I was like, oh God, because I didn't know Reunion that well. I just knew it was in the Indian Ocean, and it was basically a tropical island. But I loved it. It turned out to be a fantastic experience, and it was cool there because in Reunion they speak Reunion Creole, which is not French. It's a Creole language, so it's, I guess, in from this channel, Norbert probably it wouldn't be too dissimilar to Haitian Creole.
Oh, really? It's that
Yeah,
different.
so yeah, so it's similar, but again, the Indian Ocean Creoles are different to the Caribbean Creoles that are based from French. So it might sound similar, but there are differences.
Aha, that's cool. And have you picked it up as well, or you just focused
No,
on your French?
it's funny. I can probably understand 50% of Reunion Creole because about 50% of the base is French, but then there's a lot of languages mixed into it. So there's words from Portuguese, Arabic, some Indian languages like Gujarati, also the Malagasy language from Madagascar. So it's a really interesting blend of vocabulary and stuff. Even though the base of the grammar is French, there's lots of very different words mixed in. So it's very cool once you get to
Well,
understand some of it.
I'd love to have this Creole on my channel. So if someone speaks it, you're guys welcome to volunteer.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Do I know any Reunion YouTubers I could suggest?
Yeah, do you know? I mean, I sometimes I spend time like browsing through YouTube, looking for people doing some creative stuff online with less known languages. They're not necessarily smaller languages because sometimes like even Haitian Creole, it's quite big where
Yeah,
it's spoken. We wouldn't say it's a minority language. It's like just
yeah, yeah.
less known, let's say.
I wonder. I do know there is one. There's one guy from Reunion on YouTube. I watched some of his content before I went to Reunion just to try and get a bit of familiarity with, I guess, the culture. And his name is Le Lechiame. So can I comment in the chat? I guess I could type
Yeah,
it in.
you
It
can
might
you can
be,
comment. Yeah, you can
yeah,
send.
because I'm not a YouTuber, so I guess it'd be better to find someone from Reunion who is a YouTuber and a native speaker.
Yeah, yeah,
That'd be
possibly
cool.
that would be cool. So that's cool. You speak French well and some Spanish. I speak some Spanish. I mean, I lived in Mexico for some time, but again, I haven't really studied formally or anything like that. I just picked it up by massive amount of exposure. I was just hanging out with friends and they took me out and I had to get by. And I just found out that it's very similar to English actually. Like if you just listen in, you will find so many cognates that you can use. You can try to invent some words and stuff. So that
Yeah,
get me by.
I've definitely discovered that too with Spanish because I already speak English and French. I understand a lot of Spanish vocabulary, even though I don't speak it fluently. So yeah, it's cool. It's cool like that, the crossover between English and the Romance languages.
And I have a question for you too. That you say that Norbert lived in Mexico, so learned a little bit of Spanish and you as well. That my question is, what is like the hardest thing that you find to learn in the Spanish language
In
for yourself?
Spanish.
Yeah.
Yeah, like starting with me, I would say I think like conjunctive, like this is pretty advanced. I think everybody's complaining about it.
Okay.
The
You mean subjunctive, maybe.
subjunctive, yes, sorry. Subjunctive, yes. I don't really use that. I just
Mhm.
speak around and beat around the bush and just try to avoid that.
It's
But
hard to explain well as a teacher, so it's understandable that one cannot understand it.
yeah, I mean, but I think like the biggest challenge though is not understanding it. It's just like learning all the conjugations, and just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
using it like properly with the proper endings. What about you, Andrew?
Yeah, I have. So when I started getting exposure to Spanish, I did start studying some of the grammar just by myself. I think there was an app I downloaded. I think it was Mosa Lingua, I don't know if anyone familiar with Mosalingua. I think I got a Black Friday deal maybe 3 years ago, and I gave it a try, and it was, I thought it was useful. I didn't finish the course to the very end, but that helped me pick up some of the grammar and get a bit more of an understanding. But I don't think I don't think it's maybe as advanced as you, Norbert, like conjunctives and stuff like that. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I think like what would be difficult for me would be pronunciation if I studied Spanish from Spain, but I studied Mexican Spanish, which somehow is just easier to pronounce for me as a Polish speaker. And actually, there's so many like parallels with Spanish and Polish. You know, many more similarities than between Polish and English, for example. So that was very, yeah, very interesting. Like lots of words are similar, you know, like literatura, artista, poeta, you know, this kind of thing. So yeah, that was quite easy. But Spanish from Spain would be difficult for me to learn how to pronounce it. It sounds beautiful and all, but for me, speaking Mexican Spanish is just easier. So I
yeah,
stick
I
to
think
it.
The lack of the lisp, no, it's
Yeah, yeah. Even the th sound in English is just so difficult. I mean, you know, I got used to it, but I probably mispronounce it most of the times. So
yeah, it's interesting because I think native English speakers also find some of the Latin American dialects easier to pronounce because, I think, funnily enough, because they don't have the th sound. Like, of course, we have the th sound in English, but I think when you try to pronounce words in Spanish, like the classic of Barcelona, it just seems our brains can't handle it. So it's actually easier to pronounce Barcelona, which I think is interesting because I think the only languages in Europe anyway that have the th sound are English, Spanish, and Greek. I don't believe there's any others. Maybe I could be wrong, but I think it's interesting that it's such a small group of languages that have that sound.
yes, and Samantha, you don't really you haven't studied Spanish, right? But you understand it, right?
No,
To some
no, I
extent.
have never studied Spanish, but I do believe that I have been in Spain once, but it was a fast vacation. Um, I do believe that if we speak quite slow to each other and we want each other to understand, we could make it.
Yeah, yeah. So for the challenge that we can improvise here, you know, we don't really know Italian and let alone Tuscan vernacular. So we could be the guessers, and Samantha, you could prepare some words for us to guess. You know, if you have some
Okay.
ideas. So in a second, we're going to move to a different screen to improvise that. But I don't know, Andrew, if you send the message with the name of the channel, but Lionel is mentioning the
That's
Lecce.
yeah, that's the guy. Yeah. So merci Lionel.
Merci, Lionel. Lionel, greetings from the Ecolinguist here. Lionel, he's been featured in a few videos on the channel, so you can check him out. French teacher from France. And yeah, so I think we can move to this bit. Yes. So this is the familiar setup for the mutual intelligibility show. I was just having a little bit of a hard time framing you, Sam. Maybe you could move your camera a little bit into the center if it's possible.
Like this?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
I might adjust it. Okay, that's perfect. You know, we look great. I
Okay.
think we can do that. Just let's think about like the details of the format. So I think Jose, you can just speak Spanish. Andrea, you can choose if you want to speak Spanish or French in this challenge. I will try to speak Spanish, but it might be rusty, so I might switch to English sometimes. We'll see. Maybe what we're going to need is a piece of paper. If you Do you possibly have a piece of paper at hand? If not, that's fine, but if you have something. Even me, actually, I haven't prepared that. Everybody's looking for a piece of paper.
Paper
Can
sounds
I-
everywhere.
Yeah, can I just jump off camera for 2 seconds and I'll find a piece of paper?
Yeah, if it's not too much trouble for you.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, the search for paper is going on. Actually, yeah, I have a notebook.
This
I
could
found
be a
paper,
meme.
but I cannot find what to write.
Et voilà.
Voila. I have a piece of paper as well. And a pen. Okay. Entonces, la forma de esta actividad va a estar como... ¿Cómo se dice mutual intelligibility en español, José?
Creo que se dice intangibilidad mutua. No sé, no estoy seguro porque es una palabra muy específica, pero a ver. Mutual intelligibility. Yeah, intelligibility.
Yeah, it's kind of like a linguistic term, you know. I don't think
Yeah.
I don't think
That's
people
correct.
were thinking too much about it before discovering my videos.
Inteligibilidad. It's kind of hard to say, to be honest.
Intangibilidad. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good. So, Samantha, whenever you're ready, I guess we are ready to listen to you.
Yeah. Ok. Allora, la parola che ho pensato si usa nel momento in cui si devono tingere i panni. È una cosa che si usa nell'ambito di lavapanni, come può essere il sapone, come può essere l'ammorbidente. Però questa cosa specifica serve per sbiancarli i panni, serve per farli bianchi. E bisogna anche stare attenti a non averci punti panni colorati, perché se no li sbianca, li sciupa.
¿Tienen
Se
preguntas?
volete.
¿Tienen preguntas o necesitan clarificación de cosas?
Cuando dices pan, ¿a qué te refieres? O sea, ¿puedes explicar un poco más o menos qué
I
te refieres?
panni. I panni sono le cose che ti metti addosso. Sono i pantaloni, le magliette, i calzini, tutti sono panni.
Ok.
Le cose che ti metti quando ti vesti.
Ok, o sea, como prendas, ¿no? Me imagino, algo, no sé.
Andrew, ¿y tú? ¿Tienes ideas?
Bah, je parlerai français pour représenter la langue française ici. Moi, j'ai compris banchiale, c'est correct. Est-ce que ça a une relation avec la banque?
No, penso che ci sia stato qualche cosa che non ha funzionato nella comprensione, perché non ho capito nemmeno la parola che te hai capito. Tu hai capito la parola?
Bianciale o biancale?
Sbiancare vuol dire che questa cosa, questo oggetto fa diventare i panni bianchi. Che il colore bianco.
I have an idea.
D'accord.
We can put it down.
È una
I
cosa
suppose.
che si usa nella fase di lavare i panni o di trattare i panni, quindi come potrebbe essere il sapone, potrebbe essere l'ammorbidente, in quel contesto del lavaggio dei panni. Bisogna stare parecchio attenti che non ci siano spunti, panni di altri colori, perché se no sono sciupati.
Yeah,
Vale.
yo tengo idea, ya. Andrew, ¿necesitas más preguntas?
Franchement, je suis pas sûr. J'ai plusieurs idées et je suis pas sûr qui est correct. Mais bon, euh, je sais pas.
Maybe you could just give your best shot, like what you think is the closest. So just put it
I think
down.
so.
Yeah. Put it down and we can present the answers. I see that people in the comment section, they're also guessing. So I'm just going to mark some of the answers and we're going to
Se
see.
c'è qualche toscano, ditelo in toscano.
Okay, so whenever you guys ready, we can present. I'm going to present in English. I think this challenge is just so difficult. You know that transferring everything into Spanish. No. I think even speaking plain English is also challenging at this point.
Okay.
Okay, so let's see your answers. Jose, you first.
Okay, I got let's see if it's wait. Blanqueador, creo.
Andrew.
Algo que hace la ropa blanca, ¿no? No sé, en el proceso de lavado.
Moi, j'ai pensé à blanchissage en français.
And in English, I think it's bleach.
I think everybody got it, and it was, where is it? It was bleach in English, it's candeggina in Italiano, and acquetta in Toscano.
Yes, bravo. So I see that there were some people guessing it right, like Italian American Renaissance. Let's see. Bleach. So you're very close. Then we have la lessive. La lessive. I'm not sure what's that in French. Andrew, can
La
you
lessive?
translate?
Yeah, so so blanchissage is like bleach. So I guess like you can think the act of bleaching something. I think it's when I was asking about what I thought was something like biancale, and I think it was bianciare, something like that in Tuscan. It made me think of like bianco, which is the cognative blanc, so white. So yeah, that's where I thought of blanchissage. So yeah, and then la lessive, like Lionel said, is like washing, kind of like, I guess, Lionel, maybe you can comment as well, something like washing up liquid.
So it's more for doing the dishes, maybe la lessive
Yeah.
in French, possibly.
Yeah.
You wouldn't use that for clothes.
No, and you wouldn't use bleach to wash dishes.
Okay, blanchissage, the action of whitening. La lessive is the product powder. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so the question.
word was the product.
The
The thing
product.
you use for, yeah.
Okay, yes.
Acquetta is that one.
Yeah, so the Tuscan word, why did you did you choose it in particular? Is there some story behind it or anything like that?
Well, no, I think it's just funny because in Italian it's candeggina, which I think relates with candido, so which with the fact that it is whitening things, it's getting things white. Candido, candid, it's like something which is white, and acquetta is just sounds like a funny way to call water. So it's just like yeah, that's the funny water thing.
Funny water thing. Yeah, so it's almost sounds like a jargon that you would use at the home with your family. You know, someone just came up with that, and it entered the language.
Yeah, maybe.
The common language. Yeah, yeah. That's interesting. Yeah. So bleach, it's an English word, but I think it's kind of related to blanco as well, or something like that. You know,
That's possible.
Yeah.
It sounds like that.
sounds like it. Good. So I guess we're ready for word number 2. If you have
Listo.
one
Ooh.
prepared. Yeah, see?
Okay, I have one. I have another one in mind, but I actually don't know the English word of that. So maybe you're going to tell me how to call that in.
We're going to figure it out. Yes.
Yeah, I hope. I'm writing it in Tuscan and in Italian. So it's like, ok, allora, questa parola riguarda un oggetto, è un oggetto fatto di plastica, solitamente, e serve a tirare indietro i capelli. Si mette nei capelli, si fa scorrere indietro e tira indietro i capelli. È fatto di plastica e c'ha tanti dentini, tra cui i capelli vengano trattenuti e si tirano indietro, ecco. Se me lo metto io, mi tira indietro la zazzera.
¿Ustedes
Domande?
entendieron algo? ¿Tienen
Yo creo que
preguntas?
sí. Creo que sí.
Sí. Ajá.
Je
Andrew?
pense oui, mais moi j'ai entendu les dents, c'est-à-dire c'est une chose pour laver les dents ou je,
No,
je me
no,
trompe?
sono i denti l'ho detti perché sono tipo i denti del pettine, tipo quelli di un pettine, solo che sono più piccini e servono per tirare indietro i capelli.
Ah, d'accord. D'accord, ok.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I have an idea too. Okay, are you ready to present the words? Jose?
Yes. Ok. Tengo, a ver si se muestra, ya va. Tengo cepillo y peine, que son sinónimos. So, lo que usas para peinarte el pelo, ¿sabes? Para ponerlo en su lugar, ¿no? Eso es lo que entendí.
Poi?
Andrew? Andrew, what's...
Ok. C'est pareil pour moi en français. Peigne. Peigne. Parce que j'ai compris à la fin, capelli, c'est correct, ouais. Et donc, après ça, j'ai fait le lien entre l'utile et les cheveux.
And I think it's hairbrush. Hairbrush,
Allora,
potentially.
la parola non era quella, però avete capito tutti quella cosa lì, quindi I explained it in the wrong way.
One moment then, one moment, because
Yeah.
there are some people who in the comments that they also have their
Yeah.
ideas. So we've got
Answer.
Rainy Moon Kitchen thinks it's a comb.
What's a comb? I'm sorry, I don't know that.
A comb. Yeah, so a comb is I guess you would call it like a small device. It has very very narrow teeth
Okay.
for combing your hair,
Okay.
whereas a
Okay.
brush is bigger, if
Hmm.
this makes
Okay.
sense, and a brush is a bigger
Okay.
tool for fixing your
Okay.
hair or
Okay.
tidying your hair.
So
Razvan actually he's suggesting pieptan in Romanian. Hello, Razvan. Pieptan, which is also a comb. I just checked it online, so that's a similar thing. And
okay.
in Corsica, they call it una pinza, potentially. I don't
Una pinza è
know.
simile, simile. Una pinza noi si dice, però la pinza è quella che li tiene tipo così, che li chiude. La
Aha.
pinza, almeno in Toscana è questo. The word I was thinking for is this one in Italian and in Tuscan. It's passata and cerchietto in Italian. And it would be, I don't know the English word for that. It's that bow shaped thing which you use to, you put it
Ah,
in your hair, but it's like a decoration. Maybe there are some bows in it. It's
yeah,
used for
like a hairband.
yeah,
Hairband.
like a
A
hairband. But
hairband,
I thought
yeah.
hairband was. Is it made in it's like clothing stuff? The headband. I was thinking that headband is like made in fabric or not.
So a
No.
headband, when I think of a headband, I think of soft fabric that you can
Yeah.
stretch, and then a hairband is rigid, and
That's
it
the one.
has
Okay,
has very small teeth in it to fix into the hair.
that's the one.
Alison is
Yeah.
suggesting that in the UK it's called Alice Band as well. I don't know. Have you heard
Yes.
that
Oh,
term?
so
I've never
it's
heard of
linked
Alice
with
band.
Alice in Wonderland, maybe because she has this hairband.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe.
That
Okay,
could be that.
the plastic thing that goes here. No, okay, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't. Okay, okay.
And
So Razvan is saying that in Romanian it would be Bentita. Maybe that's how you pronounce it. Bentita. And what else? Italian American headband.
And cerchietto refers to its shape because it's like half a circle, so cerchietto. And passata, which is the Tuscan word, I think it refers to the action of passare, to that the hairs are into it, are passing into it.
That's interesting because in Ireland, when I think of the word passata, so passata is I think of tomato passata. You know, it's like
Yeah, that's the Italian
liquefied
word.
tomato
It's in
sauce.
Italian. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Italian word for would be passata, and that's for tomato sauce. And also, I think it's called like that because you have to pass it in such in a tool. I guess it's it's named because of this, because the tomatoes has to
That's
pass
interesting.
into a tool. I
That
guess
looks like this, right?
Yeah, it has
I'm
to
just
pass
guessing.
through the tool. Yeah, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. And then is cerchietto is the yetto bit at the end, is that a diminutive? Does it mean something
Yeah,
like little circle?
yeah, exactly.
Ah, cool,
Little
cool.
circle.
Interesting.
I have some suggestions here in the comment section. Emma, but I'm is suggesting it's paineton, but maybe it's the comb, comb
I don't
paineton.
even know how to
Yeah.
say this in
What language
Spanish.
is that actually? Is it Spanish?
Probably, I
Does it
think
look like
peineton.
Spanish?
I don't know.
Paineton.
I am not sure.
Yeah, it could be a different variety of Spanish.
And we have the French ones in the chat. So merci Lionel. So we have un bandeau, or we have un serre-tête. Yeah.
Un sur-tête, I see, or un bandeau or un sur-tête. Okay. That's good. And in Spanish, actually, we missed that. Like, how do you say that in Spanish?
And I guess there's different versions depending of the country, but I think like the general is diadema, from what I know, diadema. And in Dutch, see people here say that it's called diadem in Dutch, so diadema in
Oh,
Spanish as
so that's interesting. And Razvan, very good question. What is the Polish word? So the Polish word is opaska. Opaska. It's something that kind of belts, like a belt around your head, something like that. Opaska. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Good. That was good. Oh, someone's suggesting that maybe it's Venda. Venda
as well.
instead.
As well, yes,
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Depends of what is it made, but yeah.
Or humaluta, humalauta. Does it sound
Never
familiar?
heard that in my life. No.
No. Y Alejandra de Argentina, tal vez. Wincha.
Vincha. That's already
Vincha.
maybe only like from that part, like the south. Maybe they call it like that.
Yes, yes. Okay, that's good. Okay. That was yeah. There is lots of words coming in, but that's fine. I think we can move on to the next one now. It's nice to see all
Oh, another
people.
one. Oh
Yeah.
my. I have to think about that.
Possibly, maybe. I mean, if you still have the time, because it was supposed to be like an hour long or something like that, but we're going over time. So, Samantha, what do you say?
If you'd like, I can think of another word, but I have to think about it a little bit. Uh, oh
Okay.
yeah, I have one or another. Okay, I have one. Uh,
Meanwhile, I'll just have a question, because actually I made some notes about some words that I kind of picked up from what you were saying. Something about morbidante, or something like that. What was that in the first word that you were describing? Something
the first one, so
morbidente or something like that. Morbidente.
The ammorbidente, I'm checking on Google Translate.
Di
It's
ammorbidente.
something that makes you, yeah, it makes your clothes soft. It's like when you load your laundry machine, you put the soap and then you also put something to make them softer,
Okay.
and they smell good. I don't know the
Yeah,
English word for that. And if I open
fabric
another,
softener.
Softener, yeah.
okay,
Yeah,
exactly,
we
softer.
just say fabric softener. Yeah,
Okay, perfect.
Fabuloso.
Immediately understandable.
easy to remember.
Yeah, I just got
Yeah.
the morbid part, the morbid, and so I was a little bit confused there. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
because morbid is a false friend, right? If I'm not
Yes.
mistaken, the Italians. Okay.
Yeah, because
The
in English,
morbid
morbid.
is soft. Uh,
Yeah, in English, morbid has more the sense of death or deathly. Yeah.
oh my.
what about
Oh my.
Spanish? What about morbido? Is that a word? Like, what does it mean?
Yes, yes, it means the same, like related to like death and like creepy maybe as well. It's something. Yeah.
Aha.
Wow. To
Okay.
us, it means soft. Soft
Ah,
and tender.
so in the Tuscan dialect, what's the word for death? Because I'm thinking in French it's la mort, and then in Spanish it's la muerta. So you can sort of see the
It is
connection with those
identical.
words.
It's identical to Italian morto.
Okay.
Yeah,
So apparently, so French follows the Italian or Spanish understanding of that word.
Italian. Yeah,
Italian. Okay.
yeah. So it's
Oh, right.
morto in Italian then is, and then le mort in French.
And morbid, morboso. Is that a word?
But morboso is another thing. It's more like, you're like, it's more sexually related. No, morbido is more like
Yeah, even in Italian, it's
Okay.
something really who's really say trying to approach you too much.
Mhm. Yes, yes, exactly.
Creepy or something like that.
Pushy, maybe.
Hmm.
Pushy, yeah.
Yeah,
Pushy.
pushy is they can't take no for an answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Good. So let's try one more then, if we still have time.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. Allora, questo è uno strumento, una cosa che si usa per pulire la casa. Serve per spazzare e per levare quindi il sudicio da terra. C'ha un manico lungo, fatto di legno di solito o anche di plastica, e poi in fondo c'ha delle setole, qualcosa di insomma che aiuti lo sporco, il sudicio a essere spazzato via. È un oggetto comunissimo, in tutte le case c'è. È la versione, diciamo, la precedente dell'aspirapolveri. Prima dell'aspirapolveri si faceva tutto solo con questa.
O sea, no es aspiradora entonces.
No, è una cosa che non è elettrica, è proprio un antenato dell'aspirapolvere. Però si usa ancora oggi, cioè si usa a tutti. In casa ci sa a tutti, credo.
Mais est-ce que ça a la même fonction d'un aspirateur? C'est pour
Praticamente
ranger les sols?
sì, per pulire il pavimento,
D'accord, ok.
per spazzare via il sudicio dal pavimento.
D'accord.
Y está hecho de madera, ¿no? Dijiste.
Come?
Está hecho de madera, ¿no? No.
Non ho
The lane.
capito.
The lane.
Mm.
Il
The
materiale,
materiale.
ok, è fatta di legno, ma ci sono anche di plastica.
Okay.
Okay, I have an idea. Very, very good idea.
Ouais. Moi aussi.
Ah, e prima di dire l'ultima cosa, last thing, le streghe ci volano sopra. Lo usano le
Come?
streghe lo usano le streghe per volare.
Okay. Vale.
That gives it away.
Yeah.
So if you'd like, you can show the words if you have an idea.
Okay, so what we're going to do, we present our words, and after that, before you reveal to us what the correct answer is, I'm going to present some answers from the comment section, because there is quite a lot of different suggestions as well in different languages. So just to involve everybody a little bit more. So Jose, you go first.
Okay. Puse, a ver si se ve. Escoba.
Andrew.
Moi, j'ai pensé à un balai.
And I think it's miotła. In Polish, it's miotła. In English, it will be broom.
Yeah.
Miotła. And let's
In American English.
In American English. Okay.
Yeah. In Ireland, we would say sweeping brush.
Sweeping brush. Okay. Let's see if someone got that. So we've got this person. I can't read Greek, so I don't know, but it's escoba. So I think it's Spanish. Light Yagami, La Scopa.
Light Yagami, wow.
La Scopa.
Light Yagami himself.
Yeah, of course. Yes, this is who watch my channel, you know. Alison un ballet, but I don't know how to pronounce that. Is that's French, right? Or
That's French, yeah. And ballet.
that's Portuguese.
Oh, that's interesting in Breton, Lionel.
Yeah, I was
Because
reading the same thing. Very interesting.
that's very interesting because Breton's a Celtic language, so it doesn't have any
Okay.
relation to the other ones. That's really interesting.
Yeah, let me just finish this stuff. We've got Romanian pieptan, rainy moon, a broom, Lionel un ballet, in Corsica una pinza. No, that's the old one. That's from the previous.
The old one. Every word in Corsica is pinza.
Every word. I think that's one. Spazzola in Corsican, probably.
Spazzola is also Italian, but for something that sweeps even from clothes. Spazzola is smaller.
Yes, I think I messed
Okay.
up, and I was showing the comments from the previous word because the Romanian it seems to be matura, broom. Now I can see. Escobilum.
I wonder, does spatula, does that have a link to spatula in English? I wonder. Now, a spatula is not.
spatula
It's not.
is surely a Latin word.
I think so, but
it
the
has a
spatula,
connection.
it's more of a cooking tool. It's not a brush. It's a tool for stirring food.
Oh yeah, it's like okay.
Yeah, like mixing if you're
Yeah.
baking and you're mixing flour, for
Yeah.
example. Yeah.
Spatula. And what about this word, escobillon? Is that a form of
Sí,
Spanish?
probablemente es como una variante de escoba, ¿no? Lo dicen, escobillón.
Okay. And then here is the one that Angie will mentioning. Do you know how to read that in Breton?
No, because Breton's a different branch of the Celtic languages to Irish, so I don't know how to pronounce Breton.
Well, it looks
Yeah.
nice. And
Scuba.
this is luta. It's in Finnish. And also le hennet, maybe in French. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but possibly that's another variant.
Le Genet.
Le
Yeah.
Genet.
No
Okay.
Tuscans to give us the final answer. Are there any Tuscans?
Are there any Tuscans watching? Yes. Let's see. Well, we got a word in Maltese. Meanwhile, so it's pronounced scupa. Scupa.
Very similar to Italian.
I wouldn't ever say that this word would be related to so many languages, like Breton, Maltese, for example. But yeah.
It's interesting. And it's interesting that Lionel said that the French word ballet, it's one of the few Breton words that the Breton language gave to French, which I think is cool.
But we need the final answer, Sam. I think we know
Yeah.
that it's that. Yeah.
Yeah, you guessed it right. It's scopa in Italian, broom, and in Tuscan is granata.
Creo que
Which is
alguien en los comentarios hablaba catalán, puso que un nombre parecido, creo.
similar to granata.
Sí, creo, si no me equivoco, del catalán.
So cool.
I can't find this comment yet, but we've got a comment from Lionel. Metla in Russian, which is very similar to miotła.
What?
Metla. Mietla, maybe it's with yeah, mietla. And we also got a word in Basque.
Granera in catalán.
Erazza. Granera. Okay.
Granera.
Here it is. Cool. Granera in Catalan.
Cool. How could Catalan be connected with Tuscan? I have no idea.
Interesting.
Yeah, somehow, Catalan is connected to many southern dialects of Italy.
And in
Through
France,
historical
too,
reasons, yeah.
Yeah, and Occitan in France.
Yeah.
And we have another suggestion that it could be Bisogna stare
It
attenti.
says that you have to be careful because granata in Italian, in standard Italian, is the word that indicates a bomb, the bomb that you throw. You know, the one you throw.
Grenade.
Oh, okay.
Grenade,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
in Tuscan, it means broom. So this person says also that acquetta, which can be similar to acqua, so water, it's the bleach. So it says, well, be careful when you go to Tuscany, what you say, because you
Those
could drink bleach and and getting bombs thrown at you, but it's not something that could happen. Don't worry.
good old false friends, right?
Yeah,
We have to be careful. Okay, that's cool. That's
yeah.
cool. So I think we've done a good job with this challenge. How did you guys like it? Like, did you understand Tuscan well?
More than I
I
thought I would. Yeah.
I found it a bit more difficult. Maybe I guess if I spoke more Spanish, that would probably help. But yeah, maybe 50% of it I understood.
So does it make any difference to you listening to Tuscan vernacular or like a standard Italian? Did it help you out or
I think
not?
standard Italian's a bit easier to understand. I think maybe just some of the pronunciation in Tuscan is a bit different to what I expect. But I find that from watching your channel, Norbert, with some of the Italian dialects, some of them are very different, and the pronunciation is hard to follow. Because French and Italian share they have a lot of the common cognates with a lot of the vocabulary. So when I hear standard Italian, I can understand a lot of words, even though I don't know Italian grammar. But some of the Italian dialects they're very different and unique, and they're a lot more of a challenge to understand.
What about you, Jose?
I actually think that if you wouldn't tell me that this is Tuscan, I would probably misunderstood it for Italian. Depends of why you're telling me. So I don't find that many differences compared to other dialects that I've seen, for example. So it was easier for me to understand because of that.
Yes, I was surprised that I got something out of it. You know, it was just a matter of picking up the keywords. Like I think with the comb, I understood capello adentro, something like that.
Apart from the morbid stuff.
Yeah, that I don't know how I got that word because I think I got it right. Yeah,
Yeah, it was right.
bleach.
But it was
Yeah,
misleading. Yeah.
because you were talking a lot about blancamiento, and stuff like that. So I connected that. But yeah, the hair, something that goes inside the hair and is plastic. That's the one clue that gives it away, basically.
That's an example where the Tuscan accent was a bit confusing, because initially I didn't make the connection with capelli, but then after I think I heard it, the pronunciation is more it's more guttural to me. It seems like it's more capelli. It
Yeah.
seems so. It took me a couple of listens to figure that one out.
Yeah, that's cool. So thank you guys for joining us today. It was so much fun, and I'm glad that we managed to get this challenge going. Yeah, so thank you so much. I will switch to a different screen now. I'm going to wrap it up. I'm just going
Thank
to
you, Norbert.
thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Pleasure.
Thanks.
Great to be
Thanks.
on the channel.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks. Thank you very much, everybody. It's been the Ecolinguist live show. So if you want to be notified when the next show is going to happen, just subscribe, hit the notification bell. I will try to schedule it with some notice. So maybe like in the morning if the show is in the afternoon or evening. So you have some time to plan ahead if you want to join. But yeah, I'm enjoying this format, so I will be continuing doing this. It's fun. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.